You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.
Massive human trafficking. It's a record 288 people arrested.
They're not reporting the real numbers.
The numbers are segmented and they are fictitious.
I started my career in 1997 in the United States Border Patrol. It was one of the most violent times in recent Border Patrol history. I made my bones and my reputation on that border. I believe what is happening on the border today is intentional.
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them.
Our own government is facilitating the absolute destruction of the American immigration system, and I can prove it point by point. I'm unafraid to speak the truth. This is just data-driven and experience-driven.
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff that we're working on. You've heard some of that already, but this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, just this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed this in this direction. I want to honor them right now, that work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on. Yeah. So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
Yeah.
This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview, then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border. They do what's called a release on your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, notice to appear, which is to appear to judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people, okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we mapped the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765, it's the work form. You get this form called the 766, that's the authorization, and then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview, no ID.
This is worth just reiterating. It's not people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep. No. They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd have believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it, and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people, in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why. Right. And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote in this population, yes.
And who did vote.
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah.
Already. That is already happening.
Unbelievable, but not really. I wrote about this in Invaded, and I wrote this in Treason, and I put it in 2 documentaries series, What is Treason? Welcome to Truth with J.J. Carrell. Why did I play this? This happened yesterday or today, one of the two, early this morning or yesterday. Elon Musk is doing a voter tour in Wisconsin. Of course, the left hates him and wants to shut it down. Only the left can procure ballots illegally and then put them in the system. We can't even champion, encourage people to vote, but they can steal the votes. There's so much that they talked about on here, and if you've been a regular on my show, you know everything that they said is true because I have been saying it. It's very interesting to me to see or listen to people kind of almost parrot exactly what I've been saying. It's like they came to this realization. They discovered it. And I'm not bagging on Elon Musk. Elon Musk is a businessman. He's not a immigration expert. But because him and the other gentleman from Spain, the legal naturalized citizen that we love, says if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I would not have believed it. And I think that's where, if I have any frustration, that is where the frustration comes from. For 24 years, I've been saying this. But the last 4 years, I've been screaming it because it has been accelerated beyond anything I could even imagine. And it's the fact that our government, our own government, used illegal immigration to fundamentally transform the United States of America. They weaponized illegal immigration, used it as a tool. Now, let me explain to what this gentleman was saying. Border Patrol agents, prior to Joe Biden, when an illegal alien was arrested, do you know that the very, very last thing that you could ever do was release that person? In fact, we never released them. Out of my 24-year career in the United States Border Patrol, directly and indirectly had 100,000 arrests, right? Saw it all. Do you know how many people I released from the border? Zero out of 100,000. Why? Because it's against the Immigration and Nationality Act. You can't release illegal aliens. You cannot until the traitor Mayorkas and the traitor Joe Biden, the traitor Harris, created these illegal pathways. They called them legal. It's Orwellian. You can do whatever you want when you're in power, especially when you have no Republican Party to counterbalance it. So they just created these pathways and released people. And Border Patrol agents were just releasing people against the law. And then eventually they would try to get a Social Security number, which they did, with no. So, and as this man is saying, It's like he said, if I didn't see it, I won't believe it. If I don't see it, I won't believe it. And what he was saying was that normally when you and I have a Social Security issue, payment, Social Security card, need a new card, need something, we have to physically go down to that building, right? Or we have to go through these hoops, 2-tier certification on your phone, and then that's got to be vetted and all these checks, and I'm all for it. Amen. I want that. Not the illegal aliens. Illegal aliens just sent in, called them, and just gave them some fictitious name and fictitious address, and they got a Social Security number. What? Yeah. No checks. There's not enough people in the Social Security office to manage 5 million plus people. 30 million plus people. That's the real number that crossed the border in 4 years. So I'm very encouraged when people like Elon Musk and his team begin to uncover this, and they openly state what I have been saying. I have been writing, physically writing in black and white, putting in documentaries that, hey, after all the vile names you people called me, all the racism, a xenophobe, isolationist, I make stuff up, there's no way your data is correct. Lo and behold, every single thing that I have said, written, and filmed is factually correct. I don't expect an apology. They're never going to apologize to me for anything they've said. But professionally, I'm that guy that does not need any pat on the back, especially from those savages. But professionally, it's hard to come up with the right adjective or characteristic I'm feeling. Pride, maybe. And I don't even know if that's the right word. But I feel validated. I feel validated because everything I have said, I'm watching all the major procrastinators, all the major social media people, all the major businessmen like Elon Musk begin to parrot almost verbatim what I have said for years. And I welcome it. I welcome it. You have a foreign national, naturalized citizen. In fact, you have two naturalized citizens standing up on that stage explaining, I don't know what those balloons are, explaining the American immigration system and how outraged they are. Isn't that amazing? Not two U.S. citizens. They're U.S. citizens, but not two people that have been born here on our soil through the 14th Amendment and under the jurisdiction thereof, but two guys that came here, immigrated legally, and became U.S. citizens are explaining to us Americans. It's like, well, I'm Catholic, so it's amazing when Catholics that were not born Baptist, Jewish, whatever, convert to Catholicism. 9 times out of 10, those people know more about my faith than I do, like the doctrines and all the stuff, because they did it, they learned it as adults, where I and the rest of us kind of were just submerged in it, right? And we kind of learned as we went, but they got an adult version and they retained it better, have a better ability to articulate it. No excuse for me for not being able to articulate my faith as well as I can, but I'm just making the point. Sometimes the greatest people that can argue for the greatness and the adherence to the Constitution and Bill of Rights are people that naturalized. Because 2 reasons. They've been on the other side when they have been devastated, with no truly oppressed, not this garbage oppression here in America, truly oppressed, beaten, robbed, had their property stolen intellectually and physical, no freedom of speech, no freedom of religion. They come here and they go, dear Lord, look at what we have, and these idiots want to throw it away. And we are idiots. Let's just be clear on that. Because we are allowing absolute people that hate America to run our country. Hate America. Donald Trump is now having to jump through loops in order to get illegal aliens deported out of our nation. Hardcore murders, rapists, pedophiles, drug dealers, Tren de Aragua, MS-13, Mexican mafia, on and on and on, and deport them out of our country. And he has to go through loopholes because you have Democrat politicians and lawyers and judges sabotaging us. I'm going to talk about this later in this segment, in a later segment. You need to wake up, America. You are still, you being the conservatives, are still in this mindset of civility and let's turn the other cheek because that's what all our pastors told us, because they love to lie to us, and Jesus is a sissy and he's a feminist and he's LGBTQ, all that crap our priests and pastors have been talking us. The left are engaging in massive violence. And what is our response? Well, can we talk to you? The reason why they do that to you is because they can sniff out cowardness. Why they won't do that to men like me? Because they know that I will instinctively try to kill them. Just out of, I won't even see what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, am I going to restrain them? I'm going to go straight for the kill shot. You're trying to steal my car. You're trying to break into my house. You're trying to vandalize my house. You're trying to hurt my wife or my son. I'm going straight for the kill. And they can smell it and they can see it on me and men like me. That's just the truth. Better buckle up and be prepared, America. People like Elon Musk and this gentleman from naturalized citizen from Spain, I apologize for not knowing his name right off the top of my head, those are true patriots. And I say this all the time. Some of the greatest patriots in our nation are naturalized citizens. Not illegal aliens, naturalized citizens. One of the things I always say, be prepared. And I'm saying it today in this monologue, be prepared. One of our sponsors, who I love, SAT123, we talk to Chris every Friday, and he sits there, and I ask him, very poignant, how much does this cost? How much does that cost? If I need to be prepared, do I go to sat123.com? Yes. Well, they've been in business for over 20 years. You get a sat phone. You need the minimum. The very minimum you need to be prepared is a sat phone or a bivy, a B-I-V-Y. It attaches to your cell phone and makes your cell phone turn into a satellite phone. But if you want something that's absolute guaranteed, a sat phone. Sat phones go $600, $700, $1,300. You get it for free at sat123.com. sat123.com/JJ. You get it for free when you subscribe. And like Chris said, this is great. If you want to roll over your minutes, you get a subscription. And they have a subscription base, just like anything else that you go and you kind of pick what you feels like it's good for you and your family. And you get like 150 minutes, and you're never using 150 minutes, right? You're going to, I mean, it's catastrophe, maybe. But for like $10 more, you just roll those minutes over. So when, let's say you have it for 2 years, and God forbid there's a catastrophe, now you got 2,400 minutes sharing between you and your family within your connection. It's a game changer. Be prepared. I always say this, my son goes to school every single day. I drop him off at school because it's my time that I get with him. And he's my dude. And I want to just have, even if it's 20 minutes, 15 minutes driving him, even if we don't say much, because it is the morning, he's not a morning person, and we're driving to school, we're together. Then I drop him off and I watch him walk into his school. And you know what I watch him walk in with every single day? A backpack that has a ballistic shield in it. No one knows that it has a ballistic shield. It looks like any other type of backpack. In fact, I would argue, and I will argue successfully, that is the best backpack that I have ever bought my son. My son is a 13-year-old kid and thrashes, not on purpose, he doesn't break things just to break them or inconsiderate. He's just a dude, right? And he's got basketball, football, baseball stuff, cleats, and banging it around. Most that we're going into April tomorrow. I'm looking at his book bags in the past and going, oh boy, just please hang in there for one more month, 6 more weeks. So I don't think I'll spend $200 on a new backpack. Get me through this year, please. Not this one. It looks like it's brand new. That's how well it's made. If I have one product, honestly, that I could testify to in court, I would say that backpack is unbelievable. It just is. But they have everything else. Just go to sat123.com and look at it. Look at their website. They have tutorials on everything. It's not like, hey, here's a sat phone. Now go enjoy yourself. No, we're going to walk you through it. And I need that. I can't just get something and say, hey, go use it. I'm not electronically attuned to that. Go to sat123.com/JJ. I want to stay on Elon Musk because I want you to listen to what he's saying. Just, can you please roll this? Because I just want to show the audience and I want to comment on it.
My question is about USAID. Has the Doge team found any evidence that any of the radical left Democrats like Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer have received money directly from USAID? And if so, will we be hearing about that evidence anytime soon?
Yeah. So there is a massive amount of corruption, but it is circuitous. So what happens is there's money that, obviously it's your taxpayer money, that is then sent to various government organizations who then send it to NGOs, which an NGO is a non-governmental organization, but obviously if it's a government-funded non-governmental organization, it's just an organization, it's just a government. And effectively there's a giant fraud loophole, which is that the government can send money to an NGO that is then no longer governed by the laws of the United States. So they'll send the money overseas to one NGO, then it'll go through a bunch of them, and then I'm highly confident that a bunch of that money then comes back to the United States and lands in the pockets of the people you just mentioned. But it is a circuitous route. It's not like it doesn't go directly, but let's just say that there's a lot of strangely wealthy members of Congress where I'm trying to connect the dots of how did they become rich while earning, how'd they get 20 million if they're earning 200,000 a year? It sounds, nobody can explain that. So something's, yeah, we're going to try to figure it out and certainly stop it from happening. Yeah. I mean, just in general, the whole NGO scam is just crazy, yeah, it's blown my mind really. Yeah.
I want you to listen to the very end of what he said, the very last sentence. This is actually blowing my mind. Now, this is not some random dude where he finds out that, I don't know, that the government's corrupt. Oh, that just blows my mind. I love the government. This is a man that helped create PayPal, a millionaire 100 times over, poured all of his money into SpaceX and Tesla, almost went broke to the last probably 15 days. He's almost broke. And then he got his rockets to work and got Tesla to work. And now he's the wealthiest man in the world. Just sent a spaceship up to pick up those astronauts that the Biden administration left up there. And that man that has seen more than maybe all of us combined in business and technology and advancement, is telling you that he was shocked. No one really stops and says, when someone says, I'm shocked, and look at the person that's shocked. So when that man says, I'm shocked, we got a big problem. I've written about it in my book. USAID, United States Agency for International Development, not aid, not that we've been lied to and propagandized. U.S. Agency for International Development has been funneling money in the tunes of hundreds of billions, not tens, hundreds of billions of dollars to international NGOs, and those NGOs that Elon Musk says are no longer governed by the governmental agencies in America, so they're just free, they can do whatever they want. There's no accounting, there's no oversight. USAID, which is an extension of the CIA, has been paying international NGOs. Those international NGOs, as Elon Musk says, the circuitous route back to shift Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and the whole cabal, and the Republican Party as well. So let's not be self-righteous and say the Republicans are not making $175,000 to $200,000 a year, Ben Crenshaw, and now it's worth over $5.3 million. Our government is so corrupt. Our government is so grotesquely evil. And everything's coming out. Why do you think, and I played the video of Elon Musk, I think on Friday, and Elon Musk just asked this question. I present all of the data in line items to the Democrats showing the absurdity, and I read some of that on Friday, to the absurdity of where millions and billions of dollars is going overseas to transgender studies, workplace enforcement in Mexico, migrant welfare in Malaysia. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And what Elon Musk is saying is, this is all corrupt. And I line it all out, and I asked the Democrats and the left, he said the vast majority of all the NGO connections are run and connected to the left. Almost all of them. And he says, why do you hate it so much? Tell me what you don't like. And they can't tell you what they don't like. Because they can't tell you out loud that they don't like it because you, Elon Musk, are stopping the future payments of tens of millions of dollars into my coffers, billions of dollars to stupid organizations that funnel the money back to me. And Elon Musk is 100%, and I have been screaming about this for decades. How in God's name, when I'm in the federal government the same amount of time these bastards are, and I'm making at the end of my career, I was making exactly how much they were making, 170 to 200,000, somewhere in there, because I could make more than the junior congressperson. AOC, for example. AOC was new when I was at the end of my Border Patrol career. So she came in with about $3,000 worth in assets, and now she's worth millions of dollars. And she's been in Congress, I don't even think 4 years. Let's just say 5. I don't think she's had 4 years, but let's say 5. She turned $175,000 a year for 5 years into, some people are saying, as high as $29 million. Here's a guy, I don't agree with everything this man says, and I don't agree with everything everyone says, but this man is he's like a policy wonk in terms of corruption. And there, like I said, there's one or two things where he kind of agrees that sometimes there needs to be a soft coup or like a smaller government that kind of works outside. No, I don't believe in any of that crap. However, his data, his analysis, his connecting the dots is no one even challenges it. And you know when somebody is doing really good work is they just leave that person alone. Or they demonize him. Like Elon Musk, they demonize him. They don't talk about what he's doing. Same thing with Mike Pence, they demonize him. Like when I went in front of Congress, they demonize me, the person, not the message. Listen to what Mike Pence says to I think it's Sean Ryan's show, about Elon Musk and why the left hates him so much.
They have no idea how deep the rabbit hole goes there, or how dark many of the operations they thought USAID was involved in. And I think that this is part of what the blockade being set up right now to stop Doge from finding out is about. They don't want them to have USAID's books. They don't want them to have the internal records. They don't want them to have the emails and communications. They definitely don't want them to have the transfer of money flows. This was the sort of thing that even the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which directly oversees USAID, could not get access to until the present moment. Senator Joni Ernst had an ex-space with Elon Musk where she said when she tried to do oversight, she was threatened by USAID. When USAID ran the Zunzanillo op in Cuba in 2014 and the scandal popped off who approved this, and it turned out it was all in-house at USAID, what Senate staffers said was when they tried to get oversight of this operation along the way, they were told that if Senate staffers found out what USAID was doing, people could die.
People could die. That means that there is a cabal, there is a subset of the government, outside the government, that is running our country. And that's the fight Donald Trump's up against. This level of corruption is so deep, it's so wide. The level of evil is beyond our comprehension. We're talking about a nation at the baseline. The baseline is $36 trillion in debt. I am making the announcement declaration that I don't believe we're $36 trillion in debt because of spending. I believe we're $36 trillion in debt because of illegal spending where they stole the money. It's like I always use, I'm a MasterCard holder and I have $1,000 in revolving debt every month because everyone uses credit cards. So I'm paying I'm paying for all my gas and my food and all that, going out to eat, and then at the end of the month my biweekly check comes in, I pay my bill, I'm done. And then I'm going to pay my bill and it's $1,000 every month. I know what my bills are. I'm a very same kind of guy every day. So I know at the end of the month, it's gonna be $1,000 to $1,200, something like that. And I pay it off. But this time I go to go write my check out or transfer the money over in my account, and I see $150,000 in credit card. Holy, what? 150,000? And I start calling around, and then I find out, oh no, we're sorry, Mr. Carrell. They just stole it from you. Somebody has your credit card and stole it from you, and now we're going to demonize you. Yeah, I know that they stole it through our system, and you have no control or you don't have any oversight of that because you don't have oversight. You just used our service to pay your bills, but we're going to demonize you. You're a racist. You're a xenophobe. And I'm like, whoa, hold a second. Those people stole my money. Can we go arrest them? No. They're still stealing it. We're still allowing them to steal it. That's the exact same scenario that we're living through today with Elon Musk, Doge, and the corrupt politicians. And I'm going to echo what I've been hearing amongst all the people that interview me, all my conservative friends, all my conservative colleagues in this podcast social media world. They know what they are all asking, and it's getting louder and louder and louder. And it needs to be a constant, powerful drumbeat every single day. And that is a simple question of, where are all the arrests? Where are they? We have enough just what we're conversing about to begin to have indictments, arrest warrants. This is what we know. Can you imagine what Elon Musk has discovered? What is on Pam Bondi's desk? What is on Kash Patel's desk and Dan Bongino? Where are all the Epstein arrests? Well, we have an AG who I like, but I'm kind of getting torn by her. Pam Bondi comes out and says, well, there's 200 victims. No, ma'am. No. That is so grossly repulsive intellectually. Jeffrey Epstein has been reported to 20,000 DVDs. And are you telling me that the people that ran Jeffrey Epstein were banking on him putting them on DVDs, or do you think there was some kind of live streaming going on to digitally capture it? I'm sure that's what it was going on. And yet, out of 220,000 DVDs, 3 residents that were completely outfitted with cameras. You're telling me there's 200 victims? I begin to question everything, as I do every day. Before I go on to my next segment, and I labeled it the Age of Awakening because, and I've been saying this if you've been following me since Donald Trump came into office, and I even said it before, but really ramped up this thought process, and I really believe it, that we are in the Age of Awakening. We are going to see things and be told things, and things are going to be exposed and revealed. They're going to shock us to the core. And question, more than anything, question our government and the need to absolutely repeal it. Pick it up and throw it in the garbage. We're almost there. We're getting there. Trust me. Before we do, I want to talk about our sponsor at the midway point, patriotsmade.com. Patriotsmade.com. Why did I partner with patriotsmade.com/JJ? Because I am tired of paying money to big box stores, to retail stores, to companies that do not like me, do not like what I believe in, and then take parts of their profit that are off of me being having no access to anything else, and using that profit, that product to buy, and using part of my money to give it to organizations that hate me. Like, not just hate me as, quote, the plural community, but hate me specifically. Major corporations were funding Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter was defund the police. All the police are racist pigs, Nazis that should die. That was me. That was me. So this patriotsmade.com/JJ gives me a new access to a company with over 400 products that are made in America, by Americans, and they're green. They're what the Democrats want. They're what the Democrats say they want. no chemicals. It's you get rid of all of the poisons that are in your house now. Your chemicals for cleaning, your food, your lotions, your shampoos, everything. Go to patriotsmade.com/JJ. Just go in there and look around. All right, the Age of Awakening. I'm going to show you this. And when I show you this video, and it's from Redacted, and I would consider Clayton Morris and his wife Natalie to be colleagues, and I think that we're maybe a little bit more because I've been on his show so many times, and I've spoken to him, and we've been to dinner. Wonderful husband and wife, wonderful children. But Clayton and Natalie, but Clayton specifically challenges everything. And he is unrelenting in his research. He is unafraid to talk about topics that, be honest, 5 years ago, people would say, that Clayton Morris is absolutely insane. Absolutely. So the pyramids, were built by slaves that are uneducated, dying of starvation, but they were able to move blocks that we don't even have cranes for today to pick them up. And they put them so perfectly, you can't even get a razor blade between the rocks. And they cut them and they moved those rocks 500 miles away and from a quarry to where they constructed them. And now we find out, wait a minute, there's coils, 8 coils to maybe support the pyramid, or they're used as conductors to bring up energy. Everything's changing. Everything we were told throughout our lives about the pyramids is a bold-faced lie. There's no argument. We are in an age of awakening where we are going to find things out that are absolutely true, and you are going to begin to question everything. And here is one on Hitler not killing himself and then ending up in Argentina. And the Argentinian president, Milei, is now disclosing, declassifying all of the Third Reich information. And they're saying that Hitler lived for 20 years in Argentina and fathered 2 more children. And you know who brought him over there, or who allowed it? You guessed it, the United States of America. Go ahead and play this, please.
People know this story and who have studied the subject know that Adolf Hitler didn't kill himself in a bunker in Berlin as the Red Army closed in. I think that's, we all know that was a fabricated story, or if you watch the show, you probably understand that. Hitler actually fled Germany weeks before that using a group of underground tunnels that led to an airstrip. And that airstrip was flown. He was flown from Berlin out. It took submarines, or multiple submarines that were used, U-boats that were then sent to Argentina. In other words, Hitler lived for nearly 2 decades more in Argentina, along with vast numbers of the Third Reich. Well, now Argentinian President Javier Milei has just ordered the release of all remaining documents on all of those Nazis who fled Germany and moved to Argentina after World War II. Basically, it was almost like a second base of operations in Argentina. If you're not familiar with that, like basically the Third Reich operated out of Argentina and Germany. And many of them, including Adolf Hitler, lived in Argentina well after 1945. Most people know that Hitler lived out his days in Bariloche, Argentina, until he died there in the mid-1960s. Yes, you can read the CIA documents about this. The FBI documents also about sightings of Hitler in this area. They knew about it. Of course they knew about it. It was largely facilitated, I think it's safe to say, by the United States and its allies. Operation Paperclip, anybody? Quid pro quo?
Also, if you look into this, the skull that is held in Russia that was supposedly the remains of Adolf Hitler with a bullet wound in it is female.
Yeah.
So when you look for proof that Hitler did in fact kill himself in the bunker, you are going to find a lot of dead ends.
Yeah. And all you need to read, you can read a great book on this called The Gray Wolf. It's a great book. There's many books written about this now. But yeah, the skull, the fragments, they ran the DNA test on it. And the Soviets allowed them to do this testing. And even Stalin openly talked about that Hitler lived, that he was not there. So Stalin even knew about it. It's widely known in Argentina, by the way, well known, that Hitler sired 2 children while he lived in Argentina.
1984, Orwellian. Orwell couldn't have written a book, 1984, back then, knowing if he knew what he knew, if he lived to this date, he'd be like, oh my gosh, that's absurd what I'm writing. Because we have just been lied to. Think about every single thing that you have been told throughout your life is in some way or another propaganda. Everything. Moon landing. Did it happen or did it not? I have a lot of questions. 9/11, Building 7 just falls down on its own, imploded from the heat. Okay. All right, sure. AIDS came from homosexual monkeys. Oh, okay. COVID came from Chinese people eating bats. Oh, okay, sure. Take this shot. We haven't tested it. And then stand 6 feet apart because the vaccine works, but it really doesn't work. So take it. And then I need you to take a drug that the head of all the medicine in America, Fauci, knows kills people at a 50% plus rate, remdesivir, and let's give it to Americans, knowing it's going to kill them. Let's go to war with Iraq because they have weapons of mass destruction. Oops, they don't. Sorry. We just spent trillions of dollars, lost millions of lives because our government lied to the American people. We have to go to Vietnam and we have to fight them there so they don't fight us here. However, they're boat people and not major liner boats. No, they're boats that are like fishing vessels, and they were going to come like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 miles across the sea and invade us in America. So let's go kill 50,000 of our soldiers there, knowing it's a lie. JFK got killed, shot by a lone gunman. That had no ties to the CIA or Russia. You guys are conspiracy theorists and morons. Okay. But everything I've said is 100% true. Been proven that their stories, their narratives are lies. It's not a good place to be as a society. I will concede that. To be a society where you do not have any trust in anyone or any institution, no society can sustain that level of distrust and survive, more or less continue to be successful. And that, I believe, is the greatest evil the left has played on us, is we don't trust anything or anybody. Sad but true. One thing you can trust is the absolute importance of your health. Absolute importance with your health. All my sponsors follow this: prepared, health, be ready to go time. And this one is bellagrace.com. Shop bellagrace.com/truth. Shop bellagrace.com/truth. I'm in a weekend now taking my elixir. It tastes like raspberries, I think, if I had to choose something. Takes like literally 10 seconds to peel the top off, squeeze in your mouth, swallow it, then you're good. Collagen, as Dr. Lucky said, the collagen is going to help your hair, your nails, your skin, your gut, because our immune system, our ability to fight inflammation is being destroyed by the air, the water, our food, our environment. So go to shopbellagrace.com/truth. Get the elixir, which I have. I also do the sleep gummies. I have a niece that just is doing the dairy serum and the lips. I don't need the lips, but my niece does. Beautiful college young lady. She's actually going to start doing commercials for me because I think she's perfect. You don't want to see my mug up here pushing or selling lips and dairy serum. That is a beautiful young woman is going to, and she uses it, and she's going to talk to you about it. But I use those two. I use the restorative sleep gummies, and I use the elixir. And I swear by them now. I do. I'm not going to give you a great, thorough promotion until I get through at least a month of the elixir. I'm going off of what Brandon and Melissa House say, and I trust them. And they swear by it. Absolute swear by it. So I will too. This is Worldview Tube. We're a family. We trust each other, and I trust them. Go to shopbellagrace.com/truth. All right. Fast episode. It's Monday. I mean, there's so much stuff going on. It literally, when I start going over my I call it my script for my show, I always just go off of what interests me, and I think it's going to interest you. And I look at it, and I'm like, I mean, I need to be like Brandon House and have like a 3-4 hour show, because there's so much to discuss, so much to go over. But one thing that I want to discuss today and have a conversation on, and I talked about it previously earlier in the show, is the violence the left is engaging in right now. Is so over the top, and it is not going to get, we're not going to get less of it. We're going to get much more of it before it gets squashed. The keying of the cars, firebombing Tesla dealerships, ramming people, ramming them off the road because they have a Tesla, firebombing GOP sites across the country, the attempted assassinations on Trump and the continued ones, I'm assured that they're happening. The threats to assassinate Donald Trump and Elon Musk, now the threats to kill ICE officers. You can go on and on and on, but you can push it, and you could pinpoint it exactly to who's doing it, who's driving it, who's pushing it, is the left. The absolute Democrat demons. Here's one. Here's someone so compromised, so grotesquely incompetent. The former Attorney General, Loretta Lynch. And listen to what she says all the way back to the first time Donald Trump is elected, and the encouraging of violence, the encouraging of protests, the encouraging of everything, and has ramped up to current day that we are now on the precipice of unrelenting and unprecedented violence within our walls of citizens versus citizens.
Uncertainty for so many people. I know it's a time of concern for people who see our rights being assailed, being trampled on, and even being rolled back. I know that this is difficult, but I remind you that this has never been easy. We have always had to work to move this country forward to achieve the great ideals of our founding fathers. And it has been people, individuals who have banded together, ordinary people who simply saw what needed to be done and came together and supported those ideals, who have made the difference. They've marched, they've bled. Yes, some of them have died. This is hard. Every good thing is. We have done this before, we can do this again.
I did have an interaction with someone in the parking lot who asked me if the team practicing was a Democrat or a Republican team. I told him they were Republicans. He said, "Okay, thanks," turned around. I got in the car and left, find out that my Republican colleagues were targeted by an active shooter today.
Loretta Lynch. Isn't she the same person that met on the tarmac with Bill Clinton? Yep. She's claiming those people that you saw protesting, rocking police cars, causing damage, killing people, are the same as our founding fathers. You believe that dumb woman just compared those savages to our founding fathers? Our founding fathers went to war against the oppressive English. They didn't stand there and rock the carriages and kill horses and burn their villages down. They went to war. You're trying to compare those unruly, uneducated savages, compare them to our founding fathers. You, ma'am, are comparing that loser, that mental patient, Kathy Griffith, who's not funny, pulling up and holding a severed head of Donald Trump, a bloody severed head. I don't think there's any documented stories or pictures of George Washington holding the severed head of the king or his enemy. I don't remember that. Maybe I could be wrong. But now individuals in America are heeding the advice of their elites, the people that they look up to, the people they revere as we revere God. They revere them because they're atheists, they're scumbags, and they can only revere what they can see. And this guy, this putz, if I ever went back and worked again in law enforcement and men like this crossed my path, I would just cave their skulls in. Listen to this little beta male.
Shoot at ICE agents on sight. That's right. If ICE agents are trying to take you or a loved one, shoot them on sight. The way they're pulling up, with masks on, with unmarked vehicles, no badge, no nothing, it could be anybody. It can be gang members. You have every right to shoot at them. This would be the best self-defense case. You're just in fear for your life. You don't know who's behind that unmarked vehicle or who's behind that mask. This is ridiculous. What is our country coming to? Why would you want to be an ICE agent anyway? Do you like separating kids from their parents? Do you like deporting students that are studying? I can understand deporting a gang member or criminals, but innocent people, it's ridiculous. The way these ICE agents are pulling up with masks on, unmarked vehicles, they are pulling up like gang members. They are pulling up like the mafia. You might as well shoot them on sight and have your day in court. Take care, guys. Now I'm out.
Take care, guys, and I'm out. Sir, I'd make you kneel in front of me and beg me for forgiveness and peace. You're a gutless piece of trash. Why do you think Tom Homan has to use so many agents to go arrest one person? Because of people like this. Because while 2 or 3 agents, 4 agents are storming in a residence to get an illegal alien gang member, or hell, I don't even care, an illegal alien dishwasher, I make no determination. I don't make any distinguish anything difference. They're illegal, get them out. That's how I would roll. But why do you have to go 10 deep? Because everyone has to be watching your back for savages like this. Can you pull up, this is an article, just a picture. I want you to see what the left just did, I think it was over the weekend, to a GOP office in New Mexico. They firebombed it. Now, this is called terrorism. Terrorism. And yet you hear nothing from the media. You hear nothing from the Democrats. What if a Republican firebombed the Democrats building and blew it up? Oh my gosh, it'd be nonstop. Nonstop. That's why it's important to go to our sponsors on Worldview Tube. You're not going to see this. You're not going to hear this. You're not going to hear this kind of commentary on MSNBC and CNN and Fox News for that matter. You're not. You're going to see this on X. You're going to see this maybe on TikTok if they don't ban it, Facebook if they don't ban it, only certain people. But you're going to find it on podcasts and platforms like this. This is where you're really going to find it. That's why it's so important to support our sponsors. Support us, the Roger Stones and me, Tamara Scott. I mean, we just go on and on. Brandon House, Colonel Mayes, all of us support us to get this word out. I saw a post on X from Reverend Jordan Wells. And I thought, you know what? I need to play this because I've had this conversation so many times with my black friends, my black colleagues, Hispanic colleagues that were Democrats, and have this discussion, and they're shocked. They're like, "No, there's no way you're lying to us." The Democrats are the ones that end slavery. It's the Democrats that were the Civil Rights Act. It was the Democrats that ended Jim Crow. It was the Democrats. It was Democrats. No, actually, I'm sorry, you're wrong. So listen to how this guy lays it out, and he's absolutely right.
Why are people on the left, why is there so much violence happening right now on the left? Well, because the left have always been violent, right? Even going back to Jim Crow, when the Democrats were the ones killing slaves and killing black people. They the ones that started the civil rights movement. The Democratic Party has always been violent. The history of the Democratic Party has been violence. They were the party of the KKK. They tried to get away from that. They were the party that started the Civil War. And so they're a violent party. Nobody on the left is none of their leaders are condemning it. They're bombing. That's not protest. And then they'll mention January 6th, one event versus a continual pattern of violence, right? Firebombing dealerships, using guns to shoot up Tesla dealerships, firebombing Teslas, keying Teslas, right? Blowing arson in a GOP office, which is set on fire. This is terrorism, right? And this is what the left has become because they're angry that Trump won and they are having a mental breakdown.
Couldn't said it any better. He's absolutely right. The left is having a mental breakdown because the left are mental patients. I say this. I just came back from a speech in Kansas, in the western part of Kansas this weekend, and I just lay it out. I say this is no longer a Republican Democrat. This is no longer left or right. This is solely, completely, and concisely a war for the soul of America between God and Satan. That's it. And I'm not saying that the side of the Republicans are the God side. No. The Republicans and the Democrats are the same. What I'm saying is the population that sides with the Democrat policies and the funding from the Republicans are the evil. And it's not about, remember back in the 70s and 80s, it was Reagan and Carter, and then Reagan Mondale, and it was discussions of, monetary policy, drilling for oil. We can have those nuanced arguments, but no one hated America that we knew about. This is about good versus evil. The way to support us through our sponsors, or go to givesendgo.com/JJ Carrell, is allow me to go and travel and do interviews with people to bring those interviews back to the vault. I love Worldview Tube. I love being on this platform. Brandon House gives me complete freedom to say and do and report whatever I feel necessary to, and I want to. So I appreciate that. You can go to jjcarrell.com. I have a brand new website. Check it out, jjcarrell.com. See what I've done. I think I did pretty good. Has all my links to it. And the one thing that I constantly and consistently say, the enemy of the people of the United States of America, that enemy, the name of that enemy is our federal government. It's hard to hear, it's hard to stomach, it's hard to digest. But it is the truth. And I'm going to tell you the truth every single day.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House.